you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the Iron Lady sings that makes official. Welcome to the big show. For over 16 years, 2,400 episodes of being the Chris Voss Show. And we've been sharing with you all the amazing stories, the journeys of people's lives, the lessons you can learn from them, etc., etc. Today, we have another amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking to him about his insights, a lot of the business he's created, and some of the interesting things he's doing. We have Brandon Steiner on the show. He is a negotiation virtuoso who transformed a mere $4,000 investment into a sports memorabilia empire. His extraordinary negotiation skills and innovative vision make him a perfect match for a show focused on the art of negotiation. Steiner has secured groundbreaking partnerships with iconic sports institutions, negotiated exclusive deals with major athletes like Derek Jeter, and demonstrated creative deal-making that goes beyond traditional boundaries. Welcome to the show, Brandon. How are you?
Phenomenal. Thanks for having me. And I'm sure that this entrepreneurial journey won't bore you for the next 30 minutes I've been all over the place in my career and not traditional places either.
So give us .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
I'm at collectibleexchange.com or, just to make it easy, cxstuff.com. What's interesting is Collectible Exchange is really a much tighter version, even though we're partnered up with eBay. It's a place where if you have a bunch of collectibles, cards, any kind of art, coins, we help you verify, authenticate, and sell them. These days, if you have collectibles that have been left to you or you've been sitting with and they're not authenticated, it's going to be very hard to sell. So we help you do it. We take your collectibles. We have a vault. If you have a bunch of stuff that's been left, we can help you take it off your hands, and then you give it to us and we help you sell it. And everything's transparent, so it's hard to find people in this space. You see some of it on TV that you can trust. Mm-hmm. Most people know me from Steiner Sports, was a company around for 35 years that I began, started, and built to a $50 million company with $4,000. But now Collectible Exchange is really a company that helps people trade their stuff in. Or if you're tired of a player, which sometimes happens, you can trade that in and trade it up kind of thing. So there's 150,000 items on collectibleexchange.com. So it's not lacking for any creative, cool sports memorabilia if you're looking for it.
This collective exchange is pretty cool. You got baseball, basketball, football, hockey, entertainment, trading cards, exclusives, and upcoming signings and stuff. So what made you want to start this and get involved with this? What was the proponent behind it?
I'm sure you relate to this. Everything starts with my wife. I'm just an assistant here, frankly. And one night, I'm a crazy collector, and obviously I have a huge amount of stuff. One night I was sitting on the couch, and my wife said, "What are we doing all this?" And it was my sports room. And I said, the husband and the honest person I am, like, you mean if I die, what should you do with all this?
Oh, wow.
And she said, yeah. I had about 7,000 or 8,000 items. And most people that know me that I'm a crazy collector. And I said, it's a legitimate point. I don't even have an inventory of all this. I'm just a crazy collector. As I was building out these companies, I would just save stuff and get stuff. So I said, I bet you there's a lot of people that have a problem like this. And so I organized. It took me several months as I go and help people with their collections. It's not like an overnight, which is why people don't want to deal with it. Yeah. And that's where I kind of got the impetus to build Collectible Exchange. The other thing is there's a lot of colleges and schools and leagues that don't do collectibles. Like we're doing the Savannah Banana collectibles, which has really been hot. I love this opportunity. Jesse Cole, who owns the Bananas, is creating a whole thing. He's brilliant. It's the greatest show on earth. We do live golf collectibles. There's never been golf collectibles been created with PGA or Live. So we're doing that. And then we're doing a couple of schools like Michigan, Ohio State, Villanova, Syracuse. So we're going to a bunch of different platforms and helping them create their collectibles. It's just something that I created about 20 years ago, doing these team partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're a crazy Michigan fan or a crazy fan of your school or team, you should have some collectible concept along with it. And that's something I specialize in and I do.
And you do music, movies, and TV as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I did more music. It's just really hard. The musicians are very touchy. They're very sensitive. They're starting to do a little bit more, but most of them feel like it's a sellout. I think it's a
Really?
shame because I love my bands. I love my music, and I would love to have an album signed, a CD signed, or a poster signed, but they're not. So a lot of the great artists don't want to do it.
Really? That's
Yeah.
unfortunate. And one of the problems you have in the community of autographs, and I imagine it goes to sports memorabilia and everything else. I'm thinking of just some music bands that I really love, is authenticity and knowing that, for example, I'm in a Rush Facebook group, and people constantly post, "Hey, I'm looking to buy this. Do these signatures look real?" Or some poor guy, "Hey, I just paid $800 for this. These signatures look real." Everyone's, "Dude, you got played, man. You got played." And
I've done over 35. I think it's an extremely valid point. Matter of fact, it's the core of all collectibles is the stuff real? And unfortunately, there are some people doing some bad things out there to create confusion.
mm-hmm.
My authentication has been a little bit of a state of the art. Back with Steiner Sports, it was if you go back and you look around, all my Steiner stuff that I created, about 35 million autographs later. And so my authentication with collectible exchange is the same thing, very important. There's no gray area in this, Chris. It's like you're on one way or you're on the wrong way. Now, unfortunately, some people don't take that as seriously as they should, and there is no room for gray. But anyway, I'm never going to stop trying to go get some of these bands, especially some of my favorite bands are getting older now.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was trying to get on the band, Steven Tyler, because he can't sing anymore.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, let's go create some collectibles like that.
Yeah,
How great is that band?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think I had a ticket to go, and I was so excited. I'd never seen Aerosmith in my life. I loved them since I was 10 years old or 12 years old. The first time I heard the song Dream On, and I was just, I was just like, holy shit. And I've loved them, and I just have never gotten to go. I don't know. It's always something I realized in my older age now that I've got to do more to get on these bands. Like I was going to go see REO Speedwagon too. They might have been on the same ticket, and then ROC bands broke up, and they're not. Yeah. It's kind of the band still, but I'm going to go see them, I think, in June or sometime this year. But yeah, I've kind of realized a lot of these bands that the guys are dying off. My favorite band, Rush, Neil Peart died in 2020, and the guys are looking really old and haggard, and I'm starting to freak out about, I need to buy everything Rush before the prices go through the roof if something happens to them. But yeah, there are a lot of, like my band Rush, they're just kind of, they're doing all sorts of endorsement deals. Like they endorse beer and cheese. And
yeah,
I think, but Geddy Lee is like a big baseball collector. Like he is insanely crazy. I mean, he has Babe Ruth's balls and something like that. So maybe you should reach out to him. I'm not trying to push my personal interests on you.
I love the leads, because some of those guys, they want to trade in trucks on the Allman Brothers, the guitar player, huge collector. He lives down in Jacksonville, and I'm a huge Allman Brothers fan. And he's so good. He's so talented. Oh, yeah. And I miss the brothers, although they did get together at the Garden a couple weeks ago with a brother type of Allman Brother kind of reunion kind of thing. But it's hard to imagine without Allman. But still, look, Dickie Betts still around, still kicking. Listen, I mean, a lot of bands, musicians, they love to be an athlete. A lot of the athletes would love to be in a band. So sometimes the connection can be made.
Oh, maybe come out and play. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these older folks, they're not traveling as much or touring as much. Sometimes they just kind of go off into the ether when they get older. I mean, can't blame them. They've spent years and thousands of cities and tours. But yeah, if you could figure out a way to tap that, I'll never be able to go see an Aerosmith and probably Steven Tyler ever again, which is a huge disappointment. But maybe I could have a autograph signing meetup. I mean, bands finally, years ago, when in the concerts in the 90s and the 20s, there was a couple bands like my band Metallica that started realizing, I think it was Madonna too, who realized, how much reselling was going on of their wares, and they would just buy the first 20
and do
rows
VIP and do VIP. Yeah.
And I remember seeing VIP first emerge back then, and I was like, God damn, why aren't most bands doing this? Let's do a meet and greet. Let's do take some photos, get some signatures, backstage. You're there, killing time, I don't know, doing blow.
Security is an issue. Security is an issue, but you get some people that are wackos. And by the way, I'm sorry.
Some guy's going to pay $2,000 or $1,000 for a meet and greet. Probably. I mean, he might not be a wacko. I don't know. I suppose I've met some people with money that are wackos. So I guess I take
the Metallica. They had the Mariano Rivera song. They did the Mariano walk-in. We did stuff. So we did some stuff with Metallica. We always had Mariano, who's the greatest closer of all time, signed some of those record albums and CDs. And when Metallica played, when they had a farewell for Mariano, they were goo goo gaga over Mariano. We finally doing some autograph swapping. And Metallica is one of the big bands in this country, no doubt.
Yeah, and they're still alive. So that's
what I want to do with the bands is I want the music. I want to have some of the artists rewrite the music that they've written.
That'd be interesting.
And then sell the originals if he's kind enough to write a couple originals, but those would go for a lot of money, and then sell replicas that the artist signs. Because like Our House, Crosby, Stills and Nash. Like I would have loved him to write that out, sign it. I mean, that's such a great song. There's just so many great songs when you think about to make the fabric of a little bit who you are. You got your 5-10 songs you always listen to, a couple of your artists that you just love when you want to work out or get going. And it'd be really cool to have something special around those songs that the artist is able to do and autograph it, or maybe articulate what they were thinking when they wrote the song. And that's the kind of stuff you want hanging up in your office, I think.
Yeah. I mean, definitely collectibles. So how does the system work? How do people submit their collectibles? How do they know if something they have has value? And now when you say it's an exchange, how does the exchange work? Is it like eBay where they can just post stuff? Do they have to send it to you?
You could, but
you post it, or how does it work?
But Chris, let's be real here. I mean, and I'm assuming you're a very energetic guy and you're not afraid to get work done, but I'm not. I mean, when my wife said, what are you doing all this stuff? I said, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to go start putting that up on eBay. I mean, so I called a couple of my workers. They came in, they inventoried it, we boxed it up, and we took it, and they shot it, because it's a lot of work to put some stuff. If you have 2 or 3 things, yes. Yeah. So what you do is you call us up. We come, like, we're 1-800-JUNK. We come to your house. We actually will take inventory of all your stuff, catalog it right there, and then we go to work. We just what we're taking, and then we go and verify, authenticate, give you the comparable prices of what you have and what it's worth, which a lot of people are dying to find out. That's why you see those shows on TV. But a lot of people have stuff they just don't know what it's worth. And the problem is when they have a lot of trading cards, this is what's really screwed up, is you have a lot of trading cards. You have to go through them because they're diamonds in the rough. You can have 10,000 trading cards and 9,990 you could just toss in the garbage. And then you may have 10 cards that could be worth $20,000, which is my case. I used to open up packs of cards doing athlete signings. So they give me cases of cards with my kids. The cards were everywhere, except I found a Brady rookie card. I found a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rookie card that I had for 30 years.
Wow.
It was worth $40,000. But I threw away hundreds and several thousand cards that were worth nothing. But you had to go through all these cards. Wow. And that's the problem that people have, is they have a lot of these cards. They don't know. And unfortunately, a lot of them are not worth a lot. Some are worth some. And then they got those diamonds in there that are worth a lot. And you got to know what you're doing. And we go in and we try to help people deal with all that.
Now, is there a minimum? Because I don't know that I think my collection's worth more than $1,000 of records and stuff. But let's just say, I mean, is there a minimum for you to send a crew out and do all that? The value of what the estimated value of my esteemed collection needs to be probably a certain minimum, doesn't it? I mean, you have to out to look at my $5 records, right?
You could ship the stuff to us if you only have 5 or 10 items. You could ship it to us, or you could actually put it up on our site yourself, which most people don't want to do. The cards don't take up a lot of space. You can put them in a box and send them to us.
Yeah.
But if you have more than 100 items, sometimes we'll go out to your house and we'll deal with it and we'll try to get you sorted out. The one thing that's a no-no, there's 2 surprises here, Chris, real quick. One, I can't believe I'm saying this, freaking crazy. We love baubles. There's so many baubles in the world, bobbleheads. This country has become bobblehead obsessive.
Yeah.
And you can't collect 1 or 2 baubles. We go to people's houses, they have 100, 200, 300 baubles. I mean,
people are buying 100 of those things
because it's that reoccurring thing. You go to these giveaway days and you got your favorite player. It's an easy buy. It's 25, 30 bucks. But now, you know, this whole bauble craze is 25, 30 years old. So people are collecting these baubles that you can't find anymore. And then you can't send us cards from the late 80s and 90s. That was a card dilemma, just a complete bummer. There was an overprinting of cards. So if you have cards from the late 80s, early 90s, which a lot of people, if you're in your 50s, 60s, you thought these cards were going to be worth a lot. Everybody just went to buy a lot, and then there was an overprint.
That's my 401k, damn it.
Yeah, that's not going to work out for you. You're going to have to get another job, maybe work nights.
But I'm 65. I was going to retire next week. No, I'm not 65. Anyway, I'm just being funny. That's interesting on the cards and the bobbleheads. Yeah, I guess there's a couple of Rush bobbleheads and stuff that I've been trying to get, and they're fucking stupid, crazy money. And I'm like, for some plastic crap from China? Are you fucking kidding me?
I can't believe it either.
Yeah, I mean, they don't sing. I mean, at least when I buy a nice box set, I get all these pictures, and I just bought like a $500 Rush set, and I just bought a book from Getty. You should get a hold of Getty Lee. If you watch, there's a music channel, and the great newsman who's semi-retired, he interviews rock stars on there. I don't know if I think it's AVA Music or something like that.
I've seen that. I've seen
AVG.
that.
And he does, and he's such a great interviewer. He reminds me a lot of my dad, Dan Rather. I've seen him. He's phenomenal. I mean, Dan Rather's a legend on the news. And the fact he's doing this, it just shows that he's a complete pro. If you haven't watched any of those interviews, you're missing. It's so good. And there's one where he goes into Getty Lee's baseball library, and dude, you got to watch that video.
I saw that video.
Yeah.
There's a gazillion baseballs. It's out of control. I saw that video. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
we walk in a houses just like that all the time, though, just so you know. Although that was an incredible interview, and it was insane. If you can go find it on YouTube, because it is insane. And Dan Rather's a rock star in his own right. But we walk in houses that have 1,000, 1,500.
Yeah, really?
It's crazy.
It's probably important I would think it's probably important to inventory this stuff, because I need to inventory my record collection, because it does have collectibles in it. And I've got a few autographed books and stuff. And I don't know if I have autographed records, but this is the problem. It's not inventory. If there was a fire and the house burnt down, I would have no inventory or record of any of that. Maybe email purchases.
Nobody does it. Nobody inventories
and it would be gone, right? Or if it got stolen, or
it's going to be very hard to convince the insurance company about what you had. I still have my 600 albums that I had in college.
Did you really?
600 albums, and I carried them everywhere. And I still have them in my office because my wife said, "Get this out of the house." I'm like, "All right, I'll bring it to my office then." There's nothing like a record album, and I'm so happy that they brought record albums back.
Oh, is it?
There's nothing like opening up an album, rolling a joint, having the seeds separate on that album, and then the story about that group and the pictures. It just, I think it's just part of what a record's supposed to be, and we've kind of lost a little of that with Spotify and DVDs and CDs and all that. But I love that. And the problem with the albums are now, you could go through your 600 albums, and the same thing. Half of them could be just worth a few bucks. But there's diamonds in the rough.
Oh, yeah.
Which you don't even know. So you go out and you got to look them up and you got to get into it.
Yeah. And inventory these things is probably really important as well.
Yeah.
Anything more we need to know about Collectible Exchange before we go?
I mean, it's just been amazing. I mean, keep an eye on the site. If you're a Michigan fan, we're about to announce Michigan Collectibles. Michigan's never done collectibles before. We're announcing it next week. But we do UFL, PFL, if you're into those sports. keep an eye out for the Savannah Bananas if you're into that. I know that's probably a little foreign to you, Chris, but go look that up. It's a hot new way of doing baseball. And fans, I mean, 65,000 people will be down in Nashville this weekend to watch a Savannah Banana baseball game, and you won't be able to get a ticket.
In
So
Tampa, is that where it's at? Based out of?
They're based out of Savannah.
Georgia.
They have this old school minor league park. It's really awesome. And if you want to get a hold of me, by the way, I'm a big social media guy. I love hearing from people.
Cool.
I answer everything, and I'm big on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. But don't hesitate if you got a stupid question. My son always says there's no such thing as a stupid question, just stupid people that ask questions. And but on that note, I mean, there is no such thing as a stupid question. Please feel free to come at me with anything you got.
That's hilarious. That's a line I always use. There's no stupid question, or there's no stupid questions. The only stupid question is the unasked question. That's the office thing.
All right.
The only stupid question is the unasked question. But I like your son's version of it. Yeah, when I was afraid to type in Savannah Bananas. I wasn't sure if I was getting an OnlyFans site. Oh, just had to get that joke in there, folks. I wrote it in my head, so there it is. Anyway, that's not funny. Now I'm going to hear from everybody in Georgia. All right, so you have my email. Have fun with that. Some of the interesting stories you cited on your thing were pretty interesting, and I'm trying to pull those up. There was a story about you and I believe Yankee Stadium or one of the stadiums.
Yeah. Well, I've taken down about 5 stadiums and sold them off. The Texas Stadium, Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
The most famous one is Yankee Stadium, which I was able to partner with the Yankees, buy, and then take it apart and sell it. Wow. So that's been a great joy. I'm working on 2 other football stadiums that will be taken apart and selling. Mm-hmm. It's a selfless act. I just want to tell you. I mean, it's not an easy task when you go into these stadiums and take them apart. But they're fun. I know the fans are important to the fans, so I love doing it. The Yankee Stadium was once in a lifetime. That old stadium was just, that was the cathedral of baseball. And to be able to take that apart and sell it inch by inch. I talk a lot about it in my You Gotta Have Balls books about how we did that. And it was quite an undertaking. Yeah, that was my second book, You Gotta Have Balls, which was my mother's favorite line, You Gotta Have Balls. Good sales book. Good book.
Mother's favorite line.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug your 4 books? Give us the titles.
I'm going to say this. I mean, if you go on Collectible Exchange, you get actually send your book free if you pay for the shipping. There's Living on Purpose, which is probably my best favorite book. But You Gotta Have Balls is my mother's favorite line, which is true. But it is the most popular book. And then if you're a young entrepreneur, salesperson, The Business Playbook is my first book that I wrote really 20 years ago. My new book coming out in about a month is called The Ride-Alongs with Brandon Steiner, which hasn't come out yet, but you could pre-order it on Amazon or whatever. But I spent a year with the NYPD and really studying and trying to understand what's going on with urban policing, which could be a whole other show, Chris. And I got to tell you, I don't recommend anybody doing that. It's freaking dangerous. And I learned a lot about what's going on in these neighborhoods. I learned a lot about what it takes to keep us safe. Wow. And I learned a lot about the police department. It's a very complicated issue that we all need to start paying attention to, because safety, I don't care about your freedom if you ain't safe. So it doesn't matter how much money you got if you're not safe. I thought this was a really interesting journey. If you're interested in going on, you'll love this book.
Now, just to clarify for people in the audience who may be wondering, when you say taking apart a stadium, you mean, are you taking the seats and you're selling them as collectible items? And, the different, I've seen people, buy rocks from the stadiums and different things, like pieces of it. Is that what
I was selling the Berlin Wall too, by the way, in the day. But no, I'm not kidding. That wasn't funny, but it's true. But
no, I think that's amazing.
The seats, the foul pole, the dugout, the carpet, I would cut up and make rugs and car mats out of it. The benches, in the dugout, the black in Yankee Stadium, we cut up and had Reggie Jackson sign. Wow. We made all kinds of seats, single seats, double seats, office chairs, bar stools. We sold the manager's, Joe Torre, his desk. Yeah, I mean, when I take a stadium apart, when you go, listen, I'll tell you one thing, Chris. I don't know as much as, I don't know what you know as far as podcasting and some of the people you've interviewed, but you walk into a stadium with me, it's going to be a different experience. Nice. I'm not saying it's going to be a good experience. I'm just saying it's going to be different.
Well, as long as you buy my hot dogs and my Coke, I'm good. As long as you pay for those hot dogs. At one time, Dodger Stadium, man, the hot dogs were like super stupid before they finally, turned it over to a new owner.
Beautiful stadium, though. That in
Yeah.
Anaheim, too. Anaheim is a sleeper. Nobody talks enough about the Angels because they suck.
It is a beautiful stadium.
But it's a beautiful stadium. I mean, it's just great to go play a baseball game there. Just beautiful.
Yeah. There's something about, I grew up a Dodgers fan, and Tommy Lasorda, and I think he ran for Senate. I don't know if he won yet, but who's the guy I'm thinking of that was the great baseball legend?
Steve Garvey.
Steve Garvey. I was a huge Steve Garvey fan.
He ran, yeah. He's a great guy. Good guy.
The ambiance, what would you put it? Just going to the Dodger Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it hasn't really changed much in all the years. And so it's just kind of like this beautiful time capsule that you just go, I love this place. Don't change it. I don't know. I
agree with you. I hate when the ballparks get all fancy and something. It's okay if you want to make the seats a little bigger, but keep some things just need to stay the same.
Kinda. My Raiders fans. I'm a Raiders fan.
Yeah, we go on the dark side now.
Yeah, we're going the dark side. I'm a Raiders fan. I don't know why at this point, but I've done it all my life, so it's like a religion, I guess. But I mean, that stadium they had in Oakland was a real POS.
Terrible.
It was a real joke. So I was happy when they got the new stadium, but holy shit, that thing is fancy, state-of-the-art tech.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You got to have $400,000 just to walk around in some of the private booths.
It's no joke. But you're in Vegas.
Yeah, you got a good point there, don't you? You're in Vegas. You're spending money, you're blowing all your money out your ass, and gambling with the kids' college fund.
Now John Gruden's opening up boxes from UPS from teams, sending him swag. I mean, John Gruden has got to find another job. He's got to be doing more than that.
He's still getting paid by us.
Oh, there's no question.
And we're like, I don't know about any other teams, but we're paying 3 fired coaches now and the new one. But we'll win a game one of these days.
That's how it works.
You hire Raiders memorabilia on Collectors Exchange by chance?
Of course, ton of Raider memorabilia, and had a great relationship with the great Ken Stabler. Loved working with him when I could. And also, was Bubba Smith a Raider? I think he was.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
One of my favorite. He was on the Police Academy movies. One of my favorite.
And
he
had to have been a Raider.
Yeah.
Bubba Smith, a Raider. I believe so. Yes, he was the football defensive end. That guy was
Michigan State.
Yeah, those guys are brutal, man. In the 70s, I love the 70s. I was like 10 years old when I got my Ken Stabler book that I still have to this day, of the run with them in the Super Bowls, and so I've sadly been a fan all these years, and I still hate Brady for stealing the one Super Bowl from us with that forward pass crap, but this is what it is. I guess
he's getting his now, though.
Yeah, I just wish that the Raiders for the longest time, they kept playing 70s football, which was just they play a game and have 300 to 400 penalty abuse points because they were still playing elbows and just being shitheads the penalties, and you're like, you lost the game by 7 points, but you had 400 yards of penalties. I mean, you would have won the game. Knock it off. Quit playing 70s football. But
what I try to remind myself is that it is just a game. Somebody's got to win.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to have to lose. And at the end of the day, it's really not going to make that big a difference in the scheme of everything compared to all the other stuff going on in the world. But enjoy the moment.
Yeah. You got to win or lose on any given Sunday. So anything more you want to talk about before we go?
Everything's great. Just been rolling. I mean, my message to some of the people that are a little older is don't age out, and don't let people dictate when your career is to end. You dictate when it ends, and you keep going. I mean, I started a brand new company when I was 60, and I feel phenomenal, and I love my company. And this new company, Collectible Exchange, is going to be bigger than ever. And when a lot of people told me, retire, you have enough money. But if you love what you're doing, the money is really insignificant. And I'm hoping that many people out there listening are finding that opportunity, that money isn't a big deal, but the cool job that you have, you appreciate and are grateful for.
It's been exciting and fun and wonderful to have you on the show. Just great stories that you have. Thank you very much, Brandon, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Send me the inventory of your albums, and I'll help you out. I'll get the comps, and we'll start getting those out of your way. And
I'm not selling them.
I'm sure your wife's got a bunch of other crap.
No. See, here's the trick. I'm not selling them, and I don't have a wife. Ooh,
so you have to keep your shit.
I lived in Vegas for 30 years for a reason. There's lots of partying that goes on. I I've never been married.
You're in good shape then.
But you've reminded me of why I'm not married, because no one's getting my shit out of my house. It's in my house. In fact, if you said to me, hey Chris, you're gonna have to get rid of those Rush records or your Huskies or whatever else you have, I'd be like, the door's right there. You can go. You can go. I'm keeping the good shit, getting rid of the other shit. Anyway, I'm just teasing. Anyway, guys, that is actually the reason I'm not married. Anyway, guys, so thanks for that. And I can't afford the divorces. I'm still saving up for my first divorce. I got about $4 million saved. Is that about? Will that cover it? Or
yeah, I like the way you're thinking. That really makes a lot of sense. Really.
Plan ahead. Plan ahead. I believe you should have divorce insurance these days, where you pay a stipend to your attorney, on retainer, and that way he's ready to go when the time comes.
That's a business I haven't thought of. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, the average marriage lasts 7 years. That till death do you part is like a comedian. They should just do a rim shot when they say that part in the wedding.
I'm 38 in. I'm looking pretty good.
Yeah, you got married in the old world when they don't make those models anymore. So good for you.
It's true.
Good for you locking them down. Thank you very much, Brandon, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Be good to each other, my friends and family of the show. Go to linkedin.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss won the TikTokity, and facebook.com/Chris Voss. Be good to each other. See you next time. Take care. And that should have us out.